Hello, chat. Today we're going to do something amazing that you never thought you're going to do. You're going to watch some commercials with me. Isn't that beautiful? Usually people run away from commercials, but today we are going to watch the yin and yang of commercials. Two commercials from the same shoe company in the span of 30 years. And we're going to notice some differences. We're going to analyze and we're going to talk about it. So first, let's start with the Adidas commercial from the 90s.
Unhappy with your current basketball shoes?
Yes, I'm miserable.
Try the new Adidas Equipment basketball boots.
There's some foreign film on. Stand to the left.
Is that any better? No.
There is a stain upon my honor! Its detachable inner is washable and
Your velvet skin.
can be color-coded to match team colors.
And now let's watch a more modern commercial, a more progressive commercial, where Marxists have slaved in the academia, sacrificing their life and safety to bring you the epitome of modern civilization into the Adidas commercial.
It's impossible to take hold of the world spotlight overnight. Create your own uniform. Be a cover model, a powerful athlete, or compete as a trans woman. Impossible? No. I'm possible.
So let's go back to the reactionary, backwards, capitalist commercial. What is it about? The main focus is relatability. A very backwards concept. People in the past used to have it. Relatability is when you saw something on television that you could relate to. And in the 80s, everyone could relate to the fact that very often your television would stop working properly. And this is because the antenna on the roof would be moved due to wind, due to other conditions. So what you needed to do was to send someone on the roof of the house while someone was inside watching the television, and the person outside had to move the antenna and reorient it until the television could catch a clear image. Everyone went through this. So when you saw the commercial, you could relate to this. And it was funny. It was kind of hilarious because back then people didn't have cell phones. So what they had to do was to scream through the window at the person on the top. Like, can you move it a little bit to the left? Can you move it a little bit to the right? Until eventually they would catch the clear image. So this is what they were focusing in this commercial. Relatability. Can you relate to this so that you can connect to the people on the screen? Now, another important aspect of this commercial are the shoes. The actual product, right? They're trying to sell you something. So they're trying to convince you to buy this brand of shoes. So how are they doing it? By trying to appear relatable, that other people like you are buying these shoes. And secondly, they are telling you why these shoes are better than other shoes. And in this particular case, it's the function where you can detach the interior. It's easy to wash. It comes with various colors. Now, I don't know whether or not you're interested in this, but this is their product. This is how they are advertising it to you, right? It's different than the other shoes because it's got this functionality. They're very comfortable, so they want you to buy them. Now, let's look at the progressive, enlightened, forward-thinking commercial, the modern commercial. And here we do not have relatability. Instead, we have representation, the concept that comes from the academia. It's from people smarter than you, more intelligent than you. You are the peasantry. You are told what to think by multi-billion-dollar corporations that are empowered by the academics, people who are much better than you, the proper members of society. So instead of relatability, you have representation. In other words, you can't relate to this because you never went on a busy street and started doing gymnastics, nor have you drove a car and saw someone on a busy street doing gymnastics. This is not the uniform of any sport that you know of. This is not how athletes dress when they are competing. Okay? The reason they are doing this is to try to show that you are uneducated. You do not understand these concepts. But if you put your faith, you put your money into Adidas, maybe one day you are not going to be as enlightened as them, but maybe other people will think that at least you are trying. At least you are trying to be a good person. Because this is what is important in society, is to try and appear as a good person. Because if you are a bad person, then the good people will come after you, get you fired so that you can't pay the bills and you starve to death. So in order to avoid that, you need to be a good person like them so they don't attack you. And this is what the commercial is about. It's like, give money to this company so that you can be a good person. It's all about morality. It's all about being decent. You understand? Decent people get other people fired, out of a job, in the streets, so they can't feed themselves and their family. You want to be a decent person to avoid getting all of that nasty stuff. Now, notice how the commercial doesn't focus at all on the product, right? In fact, the lady which does gymnastics here doesn't even have shoes. Because it's not about the product. The product can be as bad as humanly possible. It could be a pair of shoes that breaks within one day of use. But they are a status symbol. It shows that you're a good person because you're supporting this company, which is trying to do good things. This company is like the medieval church now. Do you go to church? Do you buy Adidas? This is what this commercial is actually trying to be about. And this right here is a test of faith. They are trying to test to see if you actually understood anything. You get this picture of a powerful athlete. Is this a powerful athlete? Yes or no? If you answer no, then you're a bad person. And we know what happens to bad people. Good people come after them. Now, as we scroll down, we notice that this commercial has 27 million views and 767 likes. Now, we can't see the number of dislikes because YouTube is trying to protect small creators. It's trying to protect people from the psychological abuse of noticing that they said something so powerful, so great, so amazing, so progressive, and they might have a couple or two trolls that would dislike this. And as you look down, all of these are negative comments. Every single one. They are negative comments. Why? They're all trolls. Every single one of these are trolls because a good person looks at this and appreciate what Adidas is doing for marginalized voices. And this is the exact place where a corporation, for-profit, multi-billion-dollar international organization wants to be. On the side of the marginalized voices. They want to create into the mind of the public that without Adidas, marginalized people would be suffering. Like if this company would go bankrupt tomorrow, marginalized people would experience a plight. They would experience bad things happening in society because Adidas isn't there to protect them anymore. And of course, you're not really a modern progressive company unless you're involved into some form of scandal about slavery. From Apple to Adidas, brands use ethnic minority slave labor in China. So they do the bad things, and then they wash away their consciousness, all right? They go to the progressive people in the United States and say, look, we care about social issues. So you distract them like that, and in the meantime, you do bad things in China. This is what multicultural means. You adapt to the particular culture where you're in. So in China, you don't make that type of commercials. No, in China, you're business savvy, you're for-profit oriented, you do what needs to be done in order to make a buck. And in the United States, you're not for-profit oriented. Now you're oriented into social change, into social issues, into helping uplifting the minority voices within the United States, not in other parts of the world, okay? It needs to be said. So that is very progressive, right? This is why I am proud to be a progressive person because I can live with a clear consciousness when this happens. Now, I would recommend you people read an article from the academia, right? From the actual place where this ideology has been born and raised. And it's from a gender studies professor that calls this concept women's studies as a virus. So it's written by an academic, okay? Like it's a peer-reviewed paper, a feminist paper, where the professor is saying that she wants to use students as a virus. So what does this mean? Well, a virus enters a cell, and the cell used to have a function within the organism, right? It's got a proper function. But once the virus enters the cell doesn't do what it used to do initially. Now the cell focuses on replicating the virus. So it changes what the cell used to do into doing something else. So this university professor talks about using students as a virus to infiltrate the cell, so to infiltrate various companies in the world, and change what a company is supposed to do into replicating the virus. In other words, students now have an ideological bent, right? So that they're to dismantle the heteronormative cisgender patriarchy. And they go into various companies like Adidas. And what Adidas used to do was to put out good shoes and to promote those shoes. Now, when the students get in and they manage to ascend into various positions like marketing and HR and whatnot, now they try to take away resources that are designed to make good shoes and to promote those shoes, and they push those resources into pushing the message. So now Adidas is not a company that is focused on making shoes. It's a company that's supposed to make a message on the back, of course, of the ethnic minority labor in China. But that doesn't matter. Okay, we don't talk about that, right? It is a progressive company, and you need to buy their product if you're a progressive person. Otherwise, you're a reactionary bigot. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.